Hi, I'm CJ Altenberg with Transwest, Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We appreciate you tuning in. Today we've got a special guest here with us, Scott Ward with Logan Coach. Scott, good to see you.
Good to be here.
So Scott's with the manufacturer, and behind me is a 2024 Logan Coach Riot. It's a 4-horse that we're going to walk through. This is a very unique trailer. It's got a lot of cool add-ons that give a lot of value to the trailer. We're going to talk about some of those options on this trailer. And we got Scott here to kind of help us out talking about the product itself and Logan Coach and warranties and just product in general. So before we take a look at this, we're going to take a look at the drawing of this trailer, and I'll show you how the trailer is actually laid out. So like I mentioned, a 4-horse. We're a little under 23 foot on the floor, so really easy maneuverable trailer to get in and out of most places. Standard 7'3" wide and standard 7 foot tall. And then this front tack room has dual doors, but we're gonna walk you through this trailer, show you the different options, show you some of the features, and just talk about Logan Coach in general. So, Scott, Logan Coach, galvanized steel frame, yes. Aluminum body. Tell us a little bit about that galvanized steel frame and the aluminum body and why you guys do this.
That's a great question. Logan Coach started in 1985. Started out as primarily a steel manufacturer, and then in about 2005, we migrated into the galvanized subframe and galvanized frame and the aluminum body. Why we did it? A couple different reasons. One, for marketing reasons. Two, the other biggest reason is because we believe in it. It gives you a body that has a frame that's 18 to 20% stronger. It's safer if a horse happens to go to kicking in it, or if you get in a wreck, you're going to be able to keep those expensive horses safe. It's a great combination. You see it in a lot of the automobile and RV industries, so that's the direction we went with it. Yeah.
And I like the aluminum finish. I mean, it gives it a cleaner, sleeker look to the trailer as well, lightens it up a touch. The galvanized steel, you're also going to get a warranty behind that, being the first owner, right?
Correct. We have a lifetime corrosion warranty. We believe in the galvanized. You won't have issues with rust, and you gain that extra strength, so we'll give a lifetime warranty to the first owner.
Yeah, definitely like that strength, and again, the aluminum finishing off. The warranty behind it. Speaking of warranty, you're gonna get an 8-year structure warranty, 2-year hardware warranty on this, so they really stand behind the product. The other thing, that this is one of my favorite just options, and not so much option, but features you guys have on your Logans, is the vortex lining. It's like a bed liner. I think it gives a lot of strength to the trailer. I think it also deadens a lot of the noise in the stall area. I don't think the trailers echo as much when we get in there, but this stuff is fantastic, and you guys incorporate it throughout. Tell us a little bit more about that vortex lining.
Well, I think you hit all the high points there.
Okay.
I mean, the vortex definitely gives it a nice sleek finish. I mean, in the stall area, it's smooth. It's not abrasive like some of them they see out there. From a production standpoint, it can be repairable. If you do happen to get a tear in it and stuff, it can be repaired. You don't have to respray the whole wall. It does add strength. We don't sell that fact necessarily, but it does add a lot of strength, and we got some videos on YouTube that show that. So
yeah, I really love it underneath the gooseneck drop wall. You know, if you live down dirt roads, gravel roads, you know, your truck can throw those rocks at a high velocity. You'll see some trailers, I'll see some used trailers come in that don't necessarily have this type of a setup, and you'll see dings in this gooseneck drop wall. I'm not gonna say you can't ever put a ding in this, but boy, it sure seems to ricochet off there. We don't see the road blast near as much. On this trailer, what we did is we went ahead with the hydraulic jack on this, so you can just push a button and up and down it goes. I mean, listen, this isn't a big trailer by any means, but boy, it is sure nice to be able to push a button up and down rather than hand cranking. With that, you're gonna get the aluminum battery box we put on it and a battery disconnect. We really like the disconnects because, look, when I unhook this trailer, I can reach up there, I can turn that to the off position, and I can kill all power to this. So I'll show you when we're walking through this. There's a lot of lights on this trailer. Well, it taps into that battery, so what we're doing is we're not allowing that battery to run down. By doing that, again, it kills all power. We're not having to deal with an issue when we go to hook this trailer up. Scott, he's got a switch over here. There's actually a light underneath here as well. It's an LED light. We can actually change the pitch of that if we need to. You know, our cargo light on our truck is actually gonna hit probably the front end of the nose of this. did not give us a lot of light coverage. So what's nice is over on driver's side, you can see Scott just reaching right up there. You don't necessarily have to be in the bed. You can just do it from reaching over your truck bed and turning that on if you need to get to some type of component underneath this gooseneck area here. But again, a lot of LED lights, a lot of lights throughout this trailer that we're gonna show you. This is a silver color here. White standard, you can use silver, you can do charcoal. About every color you can upgrade without any additional cost except black, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, when
correct.
we go to the black sheeted trailers, you will have an upcharge there. This is one feature I like on this, because this is the sport package, is the frameless window. Boy, these are sleek. They look really sharp on these trailers. And you guys started doing that just a couple years ago.
A couple years ago, yeah, it's been a really popular option.
Yep. And then the button lights you guys have gone to.
Yep, gone to the button lights. In the 24 models, you can see there's additional lights every 3 feet there, so a lot more visibility.
Yeah, this is a nice trailer too. I think it really just dresses the trailer up by, instead of just having one at the front, one at the back, this thing will light up really nice at night. Those LED button lights are not big, not a big power draw since they're LED, but boy, they put off a lot of lighting there. Yeah. So this tack room, this is such a cool setup. It's the dual tack setup. You can see, we got both doors open, you can see through this tack room. But I was just telling you a joke that, you know, some people in the older styles where you have one tack door, they might say, well, the person we like the least, they're gonna tack up on the other side of the trailer and they gotta drag their saddles all the way around to their horses on the other side of the trailer. Where in this instance here, these doors and this setup mirrors, so we can work off of both sides of this trailer. A lot of people joke that it's a his and hers, so you each have your own side of the trailer, you can work off of it. But what a cool setup, and truly, you know, why aren't we doing more of these just from that standpoint? Yeah. You know, you can haul 4 head of horses here. Well, are you gonna put all 4 on this side of the trailer? Probably not. You're gonna have 2 on the other side, split them up. So to be able to work off of both sides, it's really nice from that standpoint there. A couple different things. So on your door, you're gonna have the 4-tier blanket poles, brush tray on the door. You can throw your smaller items in there. That swivels out, snaps back into place. The fold-up step, this one's 7'3" wide, so that's your standard width. So we're gonna have a little bit of a running board on the side. But if you look where we're standing versus this bottom running board on this trailer, that's a pretty big step up there. So whether we're hauling stuff in or out, whether they're saddles or additional items, some people want to carry totes, other items in their tack room, it makes this transition so much easier by having this step going into the tack room. And then again, that just folds up. So we added that on. You got a nice grab handle here, getting in and out. And then your swing out saddle rack. Now on the new models, this is a new design.
Correct, we went to the aluminum structure there, lighten it up a little bit, and give it a new look. So also have that adjustable tier, so you can use these saddle racks and adjust them to whatever height you need to there. Real easy, real slick, depending on what type of saddle you ride or where you want them located. Yeah,
these on the older style, you could just insert them and they were fixed. I mean, you couldn't adjust that height. So in like this instance here, you know, you have 4 saddle racks on each side of this trailer. This is a 4-horse. Maybe you don't necessarily need to haul 4 on each side. So again, if you want to slide one out, a couple of them out, spread them out if you need to, you've got that flexibility. So definitely a nice upgrade there that you guys have put on these. And then with the swing out with a little bit wider door, you can still work in and out of this tack room. The other thing is when you're swinging, I always keep an eye on this when I look at competitors, is I look at this point right in here. Are we gonna be able to drag saddles across this door frame? And you guys have put a little bit wider door on there so we don't have to deal with that type of scenario there. Now, in the tack room, carpet up on the deck, carpet on the drop wall, boot box all the way across. Nice big boot box. Throw your smaller items in there. Use it as a bench, use it as a step to hop up into the gooseneck. We tapered this corner right over here a little bit just to allow, since this is the short wall we're dealing with on this side, just to have a little bit more room getting in and out of this tack room itself. Got your LEDs, the ability to hang some clothes up here. You don't have to necessarily tie up some space in your truck. You know, in the back seat, you can hang those clothes in here, hop in here and change. I like the windows in the gooseneck. I've spent a few nights in a gooseneck trailer, bedroll. You know, you can throw a mattress in here, but the windows make a big difference by getting a cross breeze, seeing out.
Definitely.
I would feel claustrophobic if it didn't have those windows in here, so I definitely like that aspect on these trailers from that standpoint. Behind Scott there's your row of bridle hooks. You got carpet behind it, so we don't have to worry about, you know, any tack rubbing against the wall there. It also creates a lot of noise on the other side for the horses if you don't have carpet, so it's definitely nice to have there. And then the corner water tank. Boy, we had a lot of corner water tanks in our inventory just because, look, it's so nice to be able to carry water on board with you, whether it's, you know, you're traveling in the summer months, you have that one horse that only likes water from home. You get to an event and you've got a hydrant quarter mile away, you can actually just have your buckets right here at the trailer. You fill from the top, you empty at the bottom. You have a hose. I would put a ball valve on the end of that hose. You might need a little bit longer one too, but then you can fill outside on the ground. But again, definitely a nice option to be able to carry with you there. Now we did switches on each side of this tack door as well. And the reason why is, look, if you hop in on one side or the other, you can go in and hit those. That was actually some customer feedback we got from a customer a few years ago by saying, well, that's all good, but I usually hop in on one side and I have stuff in the way and it's harder to get to it. So we ended up putting switches on each side of the trailer, a little bit more functional. So a lot of the stuff we learn from customer feedback, their ideas. So it's not like we just completely reinvent the wheel each time. So it's a collaborative effort to come up with all these. Now this is a sport package here, so you get the graphics. Again, you got those frameless windows, and then this one's a spread axle.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit about the spread axles.
Spread axle, it gives you a little bit different look, but also it alleviates some of your tongue weight there. So by going to that spread axle, you can take that tongue weight off your truck and a little easier to pull. So
absolutely. And it pulls not quite to the extent of a triple axle, but definitely has a little bit. You know, your reaction time, in my opinion, you know, rough Colorado roads, you know, you might hit a pothole here, that trailer is still, or this back axle and back wheels still on a flat surface, and by the time it transitions, this one is out of that and recovered, or that one's going into it. So we're just trying to help the ride for the horses themselves by these type of setups. So on this one here, you've got the black wheels with the silver accent. We actually went ahead and upgraded to a 14-ply tire on this one, a little bit heavier duty. And then on this one here has actually got a monitor that's going to come with it. Now this is standard on the standard model Logans, correct? So your Riots.
Yep, so everything 14-ply will come with this monitor. So Lions Head started doing this here recently, and we really appreciate them doing it. It's such a big deal for customers to check their air pressure in their tires. They wonder why they might have tire wear or getting flats. Well, this will help them manage that a lot better by being able to know where that air pressure is, especially if they're traveling cross country and climate's changing.
So it's already, we've already got those installed on the tires themselves, and then you got your monitor that you're going to keep in your cab, so you can monitor those tires as you're actually traveling. So if something all of a sudden you might notice it on the monitor, you get it shut down, get it addressed, rather than having a blowout, ripping up a fender, and then you on the side of the road addressing it there. So definitely a cool system there. Electric brakes on this. So again, most of these trucks are going to have an integrated brake controller. If not, you'll have to get an aftermarket. Our parts and service department could help you out with that if you needed to add that to the truck. But then you've got the ability to actually use those brakes by having that on your truck. You got your bus windows. You guys put a nice big bus window on these, just trying to maximize airflow throughout the trailer itself. Only half of these on this side open, so by having a larger bus window really helps with airflow on these trailers rather than a real small one that we're only opening up about half. I've seen some competition like on that back door That's their
smaller,
bus window,
yeah.
and it's about that big, trying to get airflow in
I think not only the airflow, but I think that light coming in, it's more inviting for the animals, easier to load, especially if it's getting a little dim or a little dark at night. So
absolutely, great
helps with
point
that.
there. We went ahead and did a hay rack on this one, so it's sheeted. It's a sleek, look to the trailer, so it matches. If there's some inventory on our lot that might not necessarily have that, we can get that from Logan. We can have it built, throw it on a trailer and get it out here. We might need a couple weeks just lead time, but we can do a lot of after the fact type items on these trailers, even if it doesn't quite fit exactly what they're looking for. I want a rear ramp, I want a hay rack,
Yeah,
we can
you
take
bet.
care of that. And then you guys have gone to some of these LED, this one here is the 8-inch awning light. They shoot down and out.
Mm-hmm.
I really like these because they don't protrude out like the pedestal lights. So if you're going into kind of some backcountry trees,
Good point.
those
yeah.
can get knocked off, to where these are a little bit,
Very low profile
yeah,
there.
low profile, a little bit more recessed, not into the top rail, but definitely lower, so they're not protruding up. And then you've got tie rings on the outside here. You're gonna have tie rings on the other side. But let's check out this stall area
All
on
right.
this trailer here.
Sounds good.
So you're gonna have dual 50/50 doors on this setup. Like I mentioned, a rear ramp. If you wanted, whether it's your horse prefers a ramp load, or you want to use this for other items, maybe you want to haul some toys in this type of a setup, and you wanted to add a ramp, we could definitely do that. Now, let's start with the floor. Scott, tell us about this floor. I absolutely love it.
I do too. The floor, I always tell people, if there's one thing that's extremely unique in the trailer industry with Logan Coach, it is our floor. No one else has an extruded aluminum floor that's drainable, and then it has the Sure Grip on top, which is also drainable, so it's permanent. You don't have to pull mats. It's easy to clean. Obviously, animals are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to clean themselves, and there's going to be urine and manure in there, but you get an airflow and some circulation in there, so that ammonia smell is gone, and actually that manure dries out quicker, so it's
Yes.
easier to clean. We've had professional horse haulers that said when they've pulled with this floor, they've been able to maintain and clean their trailers significantly quicker. So it's been a home run. I also believe that horses ride a little more secure in there. Rubber mats must have just a little bit of movement to them.
Yeah.
I've noticed my horses getting in there and they can relax. They're not bracing on the turns and the corners. So I think that's a big factor. I've had friends that have competed professionally and they've had horses that maybe had some soundness issues, and they said their horses tend to stay a little sounder traveling on this floor because they're not always braced up. And
Yeah,
So-
and you hit a lot right there. I mean, even when we bring these trailers in and we wash them, it's very interesting to hop in them. And boy, you think it might get a little bit slicker, but it really doesn't. There's a
Yeah.
lot of grip there. And again, you hit it. One, I hated wrestling mats. Definitely wish I had this. I mean, on my dad's place, he runs one of your stock trailers, and it's so interesting because you can look at some of the other stock trailers on Dad's place, and they're still full of manure and need to be cleaned out. And you get over to the other one, well, it's really typically pretty clean because one, the guys don't have to pull mats.
Yeah.
A lot easier with a power washer to clean out. But the self-draining part of it and the steps you guys have taken, and like Scott was mentioning, here's an idea on what we're looking at underneath there. So you have those aluminum planks, but you have vortex lining on it to protect it
True.
from
Good point.
urine and aluminum. You always have to be aware of that because they don't get along. I love the angle on it because it allows gravity to allow that moisture, whatever it's the urine or any other liquid, to go out the trailer. But I think it also prevents anything coming up from the road when you're traveling in rain or some snow, those type
That
of wet
slant
roads
there,
there. Yep, by having that. But yeah, talk about just a great floor. Again, you muck out your solids, you can power wash it out. You don't have to wrestle those mats. Great floor, and in my opinion, the best self-draining floor out there on the market is because of all the steps you guys have taken to protect the floor itself as well.
A lot of people don't know this, but we actually did a partnership with Utah State University and Dr. Hoops out there, and they did research studies with horses and hooked heart monitors up and whatnot, and they found that animals actually ride calmer with this. I mean, there's some science behind it. Also, I mean, we're not against people using shavings, but if you think about shavings and they get blown around back there, they can get in their respiratory or up in their eyes and stuff. Shavings aren't necessary on this floor. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, there have been some instances. I've had a customer that she mentioned when she'd pull a certain gilding off, boy, when he'd come off the trailer, boy, he'd pee and pee and pee and pee. Well, we said, hey, just do this. Maybe he doesn't like the splash, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So she put a little bit of shavings in his stall, and she hopped in the next time. There's a little discoloration.
Good,
she knew he peed. He came out totally
every
fine.
horse is different.
Something he didn't like, whether it was the splash or whatever it was, but by putting that little bit of shavings in his, and she told me, she goes, that's the only stall I'll put shavings is just his.
That's a good
and
point.
a little bit. And he's totally
He was
fine.
good,
So, yeah. So you're gonna have load lights back here, padded dividers in here. This back one is telescoping. So this is where, you know, we would either have to add some link to this trailer to go ahead and be able to open this divider up and shut our rear doors, but by it telescoping down, we don't have to add that link to the trailer. But in these, whether you're loading horses, unloading horses, and you want to hold these dividers out of the way, or like I mentioned, maybe you want to haul some toys, you know, you can slide these over, load what you need to in this type of a setup here. Now, Scott, your standard models are 7.3 wide. So a little bit wider than a lot of the competitors out there as far as their standard widths, which, I mean, boy, talk about a good selling point. Yours already comes extra wide versus a lot of the competition out there.
We put an extra long stall in here. It has a 5-foot offset, so that gives you a longer stall. We feel like an animal or horse when they're traveling, when they stretch out. They don't necessarily stretch this way. They stretch with lengthwise. So that longer stall allows them to do that with ease and get situated.
A lot of the competitors will run a 4-foot offset. That's usually the most common. Seen some 2s and 3s. A lot of those are some custom type trailers, but yeah, a little bit longer stall length definitely is not going to hurt, especially when we have the extra width to deal with. And then here's our friend again, vortex lining on the kick wall here. So again, protects them. Recessed paddle latches, slam latches, so easier, you know, for you and safer for you and the horses going ahead and getting them in their stalls or getting them out and out of the way. More LED lights, again, 4 of them in here. You have switches at the back of this trailer, so you can just hit your switches from in there rather than coming in here and having to turn them on. Some 2-way roof vents, so again, more airflow. That's a big thing. You talked about it with the floor or bus windows. We can manipulate that airflow up there, and then we have that stud divider at stall 1. So maybe not necessarily you're hauling 4 head of horses. Maybe you want to use this as some additional storage space. I like it so items don't get, you know, they don't shift when you're in transit and have to worry about them getting underneath horses. Maybe you're throwing your buckets, those type of items in here, shavings, feed, whatever you need to. But if you need it in those instances where you need to separate somebody, it's definitely nice to have these stud dividers. And one thing a lot of credit is when you put your hands on stuff, everything has a radius to it. Everything's smooth, nothing sharp, nothing protruding out. Definitely horse safety is.
We try to all use these trailers, and it's been a work in progress when, you know, getting feedback from you and the customers, and it's been fun to watch them, you know, little things like these fender corners and stuff, having them rounded off. You know, I was noticing like these corrugates in the wall, people, that's not only for a nice look, but also adds strength to the structure of the trailer. Like you touched on with the dividers and stuff, they have those slam latches that can be adjusted real easy, or if you ever have one fail, which knock on wood we haven't had, you could replace it easy. So a lot of padding features like this hawk deflector and this headache pad if a horse is shimmying down the wall and then hits its hawk and flies out and won't hit his head. So we try to think of the horse's safety and factor that in.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anything you want to add in here?
No, I think you covered it great.
Okay.
So yeah, it's, you know, back here on the rear with the 24 models, I was going to point out these are reverse lights now. That's new for 24, so not only are LED and you got the extra tail lights, but when you go into reverse, that'll be a reverse light. So that's a nice 24 feature, along with we added the rear windows to the rear door standard on the Riot model. So
yeah, we touch on a lot on backup lights. I'm glad you mentioned that. You have to think the truck is a long ways away from this trailer, you know, at the back here. So we all get in those instances where we're you're getting into unfamiliar places at night and you're backing in, or even just at home and you need a little bit of light coverage. It's definitely nice. And that's why it's also nice to have all these LED lights throughout it. Stall area, load lights, just to have that light coverage. Here's your ladder going up to your hay rack up there. And then here's the drop windows. I love these drop windows because you have frame to them. There's mass, there's weight to them. These are items we're going to open and close about every time we use this trailer. And last thing I always look at and I don't want to see is a prefab window that's lightweight in your hand. And I joke, it's like a piece of paper in your hand, you can wiggle them. These are stout. I mean, these are well built. So tell us a little bit about what all we got going on here, Scott.
So our HD drop-down windows, they are custom designed in-house. Like you mentioned, they're stout. It's extruded aluminum frame on both the grill and also the window. They can shut lightly, they can shut hard, whatever you prefer, and they're going to last. They have the heavy-duty hinges with places to lubricate those. This easy reach handle works for everybody, so you don't have to be my height to grab up here, or you can be down here and grab it. Not going to drop it on your head because you can get a good hold of it. But another unique feature is you don't have to lift this window to get this grill. You can just grab it right here and it comes down. A lot of the other competitors and stuff, you kind of have to juggle that around.
There's
a
spot, on a lot of them.
So that's been really popular, and they're stout. They got a 2-latch system, so they latch on both sides.
Yeah.
And they'll last a long time.
Yeah, definitely stout. You get the screen.
Oh yeah.
You might have somebody that wants to chew that up. It's real easy. It just Velcros off and slides out if you got somebody that wants to mess with one. There we go. The other thing too is you guys have a drip rail on the top of them.
Oh, good point. Yep.
You know, especially, you know, here in Colorado, we'll get 300 days of sunshine. So in the winter months, we'll get snow one day, and then the sun will come out, it'll melt it and start coming off, and then sun drops, and so does the temperature, and starts freezing. So by having those drip rails, it's going to try to keep all that moisture away from these openings and try not to get these things froze up on you. Because there have been mornings where we'll come out and we'll grab a trailer and we're going to do a video and we go, uh-oh, they washed it this morning, they set it outside, and here it is, it's 10 degrees, and we can't get the drop windows open. So by having those drip rails, it definitely tries to keep that moisture away from those openings. And the last thing you want is that moisture to get in there and you crank on that thing and rip that weather stripping out because it's frozen in those type of scenarios. So those drip rails definitely help by trying to keep that moisture away.
That's a great point. You know, like you mentioned in the stall area, the dividers have nice rounded edges. I mean, if you take and run your hands along that extrusion there on the fender, it's nice and smooth. Horse is tied there. If some young horses get bored or paw or whatnot, you don't have to worry about them scraping themselves or hurting themselves there. So
absolutely. And then I would show you this, but I just realized that's locked. But one cool thing about it is this door, these drop windows, they all have the exact same key as the front tack room. So one key is needed for this. If you ever have a tumbler fail, we can replace it. As long as we know what the code is, we can put a new replacement so it matches. So you're not, I mean, we've seen some trailers come in with 8 keys on this type of a trailer, and you're like, what are you doing? Like, let's try to get it down to just one. So that's definitely a nice feature there. But you can hop into that stall area from there. Again, maybe you're using it as storage, so it's nice to be able to access in and out of there. And then as we get up to the tack room, there's our second side of that. Yeah, there's the other mirror. So on the door, there's your blanket pull rack, there's your brush tray, swing out saddle rack, fold up step. We did it the exact same. And again, it's so you can work off of either side of this trailer. Yeah. So definitely a nice feature there. Definitely a cool setup from that standpoint. So I'm going to give you the stock number on this trailer for reference. So if you're interested in it, you can just call in, give us this. Again, it's a 2024 Logan Coach Riot 4-horse gooseneck. Stock number is 5N231108. Scott, we appreciate you hanging out, walking through with this.
Good to be here.
We do take trade-ins, so if you're looking to upgrade, downsize, we can help you out there. Financing is available and delivery is an option as well. So give us a call. Anybody on our sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good day.